Hello everyone, what is up, and welcome back to my channel for the ones who have been here before, and welcome for the ones who have not. My name is Janae and I'm the owner of Confidently You Creations. And so for today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I created my rose gold and pink striped tumbler. I do use craft paper or scrapbook paper a lot, probably more than vinyl, to create like stripes, because you can get so many different designs from using scrapbook paper. So again, for this tutorial I use scrapbook paper and I use glitter. Everything that I use, I will link it down in the description box for you guys. I will show you the design with a decal on it and one without the decal at the end. We upload every Friday, so don't forget to push that subscribe button so where you can be notified every time I upload a video. So let's go ahead and get started on our tutorial for today. Hey guys, hello. So we are going to go ahead and get started. Of course, we have a fully sanded and prepped tumbler. This is 20 ounces from the stainless steel company. I'm going to go ahead and draw my lines. Since I'm going to be doing stripes, I'm going to be doing 5 stripes. And so I'm going to go ahead and mark off evenly each stripe. So I've already marked on my ruler how wide I want the stripes to be. My tumbler is a little bit over 8 inches, so my stripes will be a little bit over 1.5 inches for each one, like 1.6. So I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way down the tumbler to mark off my 5 areas of where I'm going to be doing my stripes. Honestly, this can be done a different way, an easier way. When I did this a second time, I went ahead and spray painted the entire tumbler rather than placing the painter's tape like I'm doing here. You can spray paint the entire thing and then put your lines and move forward. But this is an additional way to do it. So you can place your tape around it. You've seen me do this before in previous videos. And then once I place the tape, I measured to make sure it still stayed at 1.6 inches. And then I spray painted it with my spray paint of color. This is, like I said, you know, if you don't want to get spray paint all over the cup, you can do it this way, but you can also just spray paint the entire thing, okay? So then the next part, while that's drying outside, after it's being spray painted, I'm going to go ahead and cut my my paper that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to use those same lines that I marked on my ruler, and I'm going to mark off that 1.6 size. I'm only going to be doing 2 of the craft paper, and then the other 3 stripes are going to be glitter. So just take those same measurements, mark off 2 areas of where to cut the craft paper. And again, the easier way to do this would be to spray paint the entire tumbler, and then take your lines and mark off the 5 even lines, and then you can move to the step, cutting the paper and wrapping it around the cup. Using the lines with the painter's tape can be like a guide, honestly. So you're gonna have areas where it's no spray paint where you're gonna place these, and it kind of gives you a more stencil like as you can see here. So once I remove the painter's tape, it's going to give you basically those lines all the way around the cup, rather than if you spray painted the whole thing and just marked off those 5 stripes, you won't have that stencil all the way around the cup for when you wrap around the paper. So it depends on which way works better for you. If doing it this way works better, to where you can actually see where you're wrapping around the paper, using it as a guide, you can definitely do it this way. There's no right or wrong way. It's just whatever works better for you. I did it 2 different ways to see, you know, if one was easier, but it just depends on the person. So here I literally just measured around the tumbler, and then just cut off the excess amount of paper, just to where I didn't have too much when I was wrapping it around. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut off the excess amount and go ahead and place my Mod Podge on it and wrap it around the cup. So you want to get an extra piece of paper to where you're not getting the Mod Podge all over your workstation. So take a little bit of your Mod Podge on your top or on a separate container. Take your brush, and then you're going to brush it on the paper. I like to use it, put the glue on the paper, because you can slide it around once it's on the cup. If you put it on the cup, you don't have that capability of like moving the paper if you don't get it on there straight. So that's the reason why I like to put it on the paper first. So as you can see here, you can take it off, slide it, but you only have a certain amount of time to do it. But you just have a little bit more wiggle room when you put it on the paper. Alrighty, so then after you get it on there, you want to go ahead and seal it with your first coat of Mod Podge all the way around the tumbler. I don't mind the overlapping. I'm going to actually put a name over that on the back side to mask the overlapping. So it doesn't bother me at all, especially for this specific design. But if it bothers you, then you can find a paper that kind of matches on both sides, or you can just like trim it perfectly. Therefore, you don't have like that overlap look, but it doesn't bother me. So same thing for the bottom. You're just going to go ahead and wrap it around, having the trying to match up where the overlap is on both sides. The second time I did it, as you can see here, I made sure that it was like evenly like matched up, like where both of the seals were. I don't know the words for it, but like where they overlap. I made sure that they were like perfectly in line the second time that I did it. But again, I placed a decal on this, and then you really just couldn't even tell. So place your first layer of Mod Podge, and then after that dries, you're going to place your second coat of Mod Podge on top and let this dry either overnight. It does take a little bit longer to dry the second coat. So just keep that in mind when you're placing your second layer of Mod Podge. Alrighty, so when that is all nice and dry, it's been sitting overnight or just for like a couple hours, I would say, until you can, if you squish it and there's no glue coming out, then you're great, then you're fine. So 2 layers is fine, because we're going to seal this after we place the glitter. So I'm going to use Tack It to place the glitter, just so I have a little bit more time to place my glue and making sure that I get all the nooks and crannies all the way around. You can use Mod Podge, you can use Tack It, you can use epoxy, you can use whatever you want, really. This is just my preference of using Tack It for this, so I can have a little bit more time to place my glue and my glitter. So you're going to do this for all 3 sections. You're going to place your adhesive, and then you're going to go ahead and glitter it all 3 rows. And make sure your tumbler is completely dry, like completely dry. You don't want to go and do this part and your ModPodge is still wet and then your glitter is going to stick to it. So make sure that it is completely dry. You can immediately dust off the glitter if you like while the glue is still wet, just to be on the safe side. Or you can wait to the end and you can, dust everything off, shake it off. It's just your personal preference of what you prefer to do and when. You could also place some painter's tape over your crafting paper of where you did your areas of your craft paper. You could place tape over that to where you don't even have to worry about dusting off anything. Once you finish your glitter, you can take your tape off and you'll just have a perfectly non-bothered area. So it just depends, whatever you want to do. All right, so after you have applied all of your glitter, once it dries, let that dry for maybe like an hour or so, and then you're gonna go in with your brush and you're gonna dust off all of your excess glitter, okay? Then once you are finished with that, you are ready to seal it first. Go outside, spray seal it twice, just to where this glitter does not move and go anywhere, okay? So take it outside, spray it with your clear gloss Rust-Oleum sealer. Let that dry for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then go in with the second coat of the sealer, and then you can move on. Once that dries for an hour, you can move on to your epoxy part. Place 2 coats of epoxy, letting each layer dry for 4 to 6 hours in between. Once that dries, you're going to sand it, okay? You're going to sand the rim, you're going to sand the entire cup, rinse it, and then you can move on to your vinyl strips. I didn't record me doing the sanding part because you've seen me do that before in previous videos. But again, you want to sand it to expose that thin line of stainless steel at the top, okay? Get everything nice and smooth before you move on to your vinyl strips. So I printed 2 types of vinyl strips. As you can see, I have a rose gold and a gold. For the gold, I did that at 0.18, I believe, and then the smaller rose gold ones, I did that at 0.1. Therefore you can have like that nice double layer of vinyl there. So once you wrap those around, again, you get them even by wrapping it around, and you don't have any overlapping of your strips. And then you're going to immediately, you don't have to epoxy over this or anything. You're just going to go ahead and place your second strip on top of your gold one. So again, I'm going to place a decal over this to where you won't see the overlapping of the craft paper. But you're just going to carefully wrap around your second strip. And I would advise sealing your vinyl strips. You can use polyurethane. You can use like a DIY quick coat sealer, I believe that they call it, or you can just go outside and spray seal it with your Rust-Oleums clear gloss sealer just to where your vinyl doesn't lift. There has been a couple times where my vinyl would lift when I didn't seal it, so just make sure that you seal your vinyl afterwards, okay? So now I'm just gonna go ahead and finish layering these and cut my strips. Alrighty, so once you are done with that, spray seal it or use your polyurethane or whatever sealer of your choice just to make sure this vinyl does not lift. We spent a lot of time doing this, so we don't want it to lift on us, okay? Place one coat of epoxy, and then you can place your decal on top of this. If you're not doing a decal, then go ahead and place 2 layers of epoxy and letting it dry 6 hours in between, and then the final layer, let that dry for 12 hours. So this is what the cup looks like without a decal on it. It is perfectly just gorgeous in the sun. And I also did it with the decal. So you can see that I placed it right over the overlap and you cannot tell at all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to this video and to my channel. I upload every Friday. Thanks so much, guys.